Hello, everyone. Hello, Scott Lemriel. Welcome, everyone, to Awaken Hidden Truth. Today, we are back here, but actually, we are still here, but we are more taking people on journeys. Not like hours on radio show like this. But today, we are back, and we are going to talk about full disclosure.
Yeah,
Scott,
great
yeah.
subject. I don't know of a better subject because without it, planet Earth's people will not survive the next few years. So, because disclosure is underway from beings out in the greater God, out in the universe that people on Earth have been kept completely in the dark about, from politicians, religions, forever, because the politicians and religions are made up of people who are in the dark themselves, making decisions based on some kind of subconsciously influenced fear they don't even know they have. So when they do that, their decisions are always wrong. What's going on in the United States right now, I won't get into politics because it's obvious to anybody that looks with eyes and ears open that disclosure has begun for this world from the United States for the first time in the history of this planet. Period. Stuff is being done now to tell the truth about government corruption, people corruption, country corruption, and straightening it all out so that we don't blow ourselves up. Ending wars being common sense. Decisions are being made from common sense, meaning they're being made without fear. And when you do that, those decisions are always correct. No matter how they look, they come out good. If you make a decision based on fear, it comes out negative because it's a negative thing. It's a negative emotion. And negative imagination goes with it. So, full disclosure, it's a great title. It does not mean, from my experience with beings from other worlds, vast experience really. I'm not deceiving anybody. It's just from much contact and much experience with beings from beyond Earth that people will be made aware of soon enough. They've been kept in the dark all this time deliberately from a classified world government that really began after World War II more officially to keep people in the dark so they'll rebuild a damaged world and be baby boomers and feel safe by their governments protecting them, kind of thing. And so, full disclosure isn't just about telling people that extraterrestrial humans and other life exists out there in that vast universe. It does, far more profound and far more evolved. The human life, and there's many races and types of beings, but even the human life is compared to an Earth person, they're way more evolved than us, spiritually, technically, in every way. So we're going to need that greater God that people pray to, all those beings out in the greater universe and in other dimensions to help us out of this mess that people are in on Earth, a self-destructive subconscious compulsion. People believe that they're going to destroy themselves, they go to some heaven. This is not the way the multiple dimensional universe works. You don't go to some heaven for being an abusive person that doesn't try to, live correctly or act as a being normally. So full disclosure isn't just about revealing that extraterrestrials exist, it's about revealing the multidimensional nature of ourselves as beings and the multidimensional nature of the creation itself, which is many levels. So out in space, in the physical universe, people will find this out on their own eventually. So they don't have to take my word for it, but I will state it for their betterment, for their uplifting benefit. There's 144 parallel dimensions, whole dimensions of galaxies like the Milky Way, on top of each other at different molecular time rates before you even get to what people call the emotional plane or the astral plane, like the next heaven. But it's fraught with positive and negative too. It's not a heaven like people think. And there are many planes above that. And then we get to the void that some esoteric groups on earth think of as God. But it's not. It's a pure energy. But it's not. It's a barrier between the upper realities and the lower worlds of time and space. People on earth all knew this at one time. The beings that are running the bodies on earth knew it. But they were made to forget this a very long time ago. And now we find ourselves on earth with no
Mhm.
memory of how we got here, where we came from, what we used to know out in the universe in other lives. Life isn't about one lifetime and then you go to God. It's
But now,
yeah, it's a very
on the
important subject.
Yeah, on the internet, many people are talking about full disclosure. They're talking about extraterrestrial exist. But to be part of this full disclosure, do people on earth have to get ready, have to prepare, how to prepare ourselves for these big events like this
There's
in
only
this?
one thing people on earth will have to let go of, and they're going to need a lot of help to do it, and that is fear. Fear is an artificially created and implanted emotion. Implanted not in the body or the brain, but in the Atma, the spherical being that we are, what people on earth call soul. They don't know what it looks like, they don't know where it is, they get it confused between what the body is and what they are, because they've been made, subconsciously made to forget all this. Fear knowing it, really fear it. And
Oh,
so they don't change in their lifetime because fear runs their lives. If they believe in something, that's fine. But belief should lead to experience, which makes people a knower, wisdom, not just a believer. We need to make that bridge for people on earth to the way people out in the universe live, which is not on faith alone. They know it by direct experience, what they're dealing with. People call something like divine spirit. It's a concept to them. It's this big energy, mystical energy out there they don't understand. If you look in space, all the dark or blue or black area that galaxies float in outer space, it's huge compared to the little galaxies that float in it. That's divine spirit, actually. It's a living, conscious energy. It is a one power in the whole multidimensional universe, one living force. It is neutral, it's unbiased, it supports all life, good and bad, all planets and all worlds and all galaxies, and that's what it does. It too is changing now. So full disclosure isn't just about giving people the idea or having them experience that extraterrestrials exist. It's about having them come here openly and help us change this world virtually overnight, because the alternative is self-annihilation. There is no other alternative, because we need help from more advanced beings out in the greater God in the universe to help us make our way through this very negative time. And that's what we're getting now. Full disclosure means that beings have decided to intervene in this world for our own survival to some degree. Otherwise, people on Earth today would destroy the planet. Nuclear war or something else would happen.
you said people on earth have to let go of fears, but I believe that many people are on earth, they don't even know that they have fears. Like my recent experience, like I talked to you, I was extremely bored. I don't know the fear was behind
Well,
that.
we all
Yeah.
get bored, but boredom, behind boredom, is fear. It's
Mm.
behind it. It's subconscious. It motivates this uneasy feeling of being bored and unhappy with life because we know we're not living as we once did. We know we've been made to forget almost everything when we're born on this planet. Now, nobody can deny that they don't remember much of anything. They can believe in a heaven, but they don't really know what it is. They don't go to it every day while they're living on earth. They're going to wait till they die and then go there. The body's not going to go there. They are. So they are whatever they is not a body and never has been. Worlds and planets and moons and suns and stars are round. They're round for a reason. They are made in the image of their creator or creators collectively. So the Atma is an energy form that has structure, layers, teardrops of self-effulgent light that are different higher faculties. Its core of it is comprised of the same energy as the source behind all life itself. That is the real being, and we've run billions of bodies over hundreds of billions of years. And bodies come and go, but the beings, you can't destroy something that is not nuclear, not atomic, it's not made of molecules, it's not made of atoms. It's energy, but it's not energy as people on Earth yet understand. So some of the more advanced scientists call this energy toroidal or 0 point energy. It's like the field that surrounds the Earth. It's an electromagnetic field. It's made of a primordial energy, a first sound, a first omnipresent living power. It's not an individual. It's it's a living conscious force. And as individuals, we are comprised of a drop of it out of an ocean of it, like the ocean behind you. We're a drop in that. But we are that. So it's better to go to the source behind all life and experience it than just pray to it. Because as long as people do that, they don't really know. So the fear is still there. Fear of death. Where do they go when they die? What's it like when I get there? The point is, beings on Earth are not meant to live in ignorance and only wait till they die to find things out. That's one of the biggest problems with this planet and its people, because they're
Uh,
not living normally here.
and what do we have to do? The first step or the first thing we should do to get rid of fears or to go above it? What do you say?
There is a primordial sound or a linkage that connects us to the source itself, what people call divine spirit. And it comes from the first half of the word human hidden in plain sight. And when we go, it's like the perfect prayer. There's no selfishness in it. Give me this, give me that, God, give me that. It just tunes us in with this source energy. It begins to make changes in us so that we start to awaken our true purpose, which is to be a conscious, trustworthy co-creator with the source behind all life. That's why we exist. People on earth do not know that. They certainly don't know it consciously because fear keeps them from it. So fear is artificially implanted, and people don't remember how it was done to them or when. But when you wake up in a body on this planet and you don't remember anything, that is far from normal. Very far away from normal. So how do we get that awake? What do we do?
Mm. Yeah.
Well, I send out the hue because it opens a doorway in what we call the pineal gland, the center of the brain. The brain is not where thought or emotion comes from. The brain doesn't have a motion picture camera in it. Some brain cells project a picture on other brain cells, and that's how we see things. That's silly. Brains don't, that's not their purpose. The being that's running the body and connecting an energy to it to keep the heart working, make it run, the nervous system run, is what imagines and sees. And imagination, in its true definition, is the ability to see into the multidimensional universe, know things anywhere at any distance. That's our purpose. I mean, that's how we function when we have no more fear influencing us. When we look through our imagination out into the universe, most people will get a nervous system reaction where it shuts them down or turns them away because they're afraid to remember what happened to them that put them on this planet with no memory. It's not in their religions, it's not in their books, it's not even talked about on this planet. Right now, through this work, it's being revealed from off-planet to people on this world these days because full disclosure has begun for the first time. And this is not something that people and governments on Earth control. Not anymore. This is something that is being brought here whether governments want it or not, because otherwise, through their fear, they will destroy life here. And we don't have the right to destroy this planet in nuclear warfare that would damage hundreds of billions of lives in parallel dimensions accessible on Earth and in vast areas of space. We don't have that right. We've never had that right, and we aren't going to be given that right by beings out in the universe. Trillions of them. We don't have that right. Fortunately, they've decided to look out for the younger races, let's put it that way, and take a stand. It was more than them just coming here when people started setting off radioactive hydrogen bombs in our own atmosphere, which was an act of pure insanity. There's nothing but destruction and death that comes from any of that. Even the nuclear bomb testing would have destroyed all life on this planet if they hadn't stopped it. The radiation they did set up went everywhere on Earth, down in the deep well waters of the Himalayas even. Those particles just don't go away. Some
You
help
were
has been given from alien races to neutralize radiation on this planet, or we'd all be dead now. So we're getting
mm,
help. Disclosure has to do with that, really.
you were talking about heal. How can we send out the heal and to control our fears or to help us? Any methods, any ways to send out the heal?
The first thing people on Earth have to do is detach themselves from being mindlessly entertained, because the world is just full of mindless entertainment. They waste their whole lives on it till they get too old to do anything about it, and then they pass away. And then generally their fears cause them to reincarnate here, to come back and find another body, some baby, and come back and do it again. That too is not normal. That's what people on Earth think, because they have nothing else to compare it to. They don't have access to beings out in the greater God coming here. Not directly. So none of them have anything to compare how to choose better than they are now. So that has to be brought from outside Earth to this planet. True disclosure is about that taking place. It starts with honesty, disclosure of corruption and fraud, clearing it up, telling the truth. It starts with that, and then that energy has no negative opposite. It's just constructively uplifting, no matter how it looks. And that starts to sweep into the atmosphere of Earth, and then other things can come here. And people on Earth need to be carefully bridged. Um, when I go into the hue, I sets up a vibration through the pineal gland, but it's not about the brain. It's not. There's no third eye in the brain, like people think. It's not in the head. The spherical form of us, which is shown on this book,
Yep.
if you can see it.
Yes, I can.
This is in one of the first books, the Parallel Time Trilogy. This is what we really look like as an individual soul. It has structure, it has color, it has functionality. This is what we really are. We've never been one of these. And people on Earth in particular do not know this. They're
Mm.
afraid to know it. And they shouldn't be, but it's subconscious, so they're not really aware of where that influence is coming from. So when we work with the hue, we're connecting to the direct source energy itself. And when we do that, when we have the courage to do it, it begins to work with us in a different way. It starts to help us unravel the tight knots of fear and subconscious trauma. It starts to surface and bring to the surface many of the things we've been made to forget. And that makes us wiser, makes our IQ go way up. We're far more intelligent. And we begin to be able to comprehend again the nature of us as a spherical being and the nature of the multidimensional universe, the greater God outside of this planet. Because it is out there.
Mm.
And it is up there in higher dimensions. We have a little teeny bit of what we call God on this little one world. Most of it is out there. And until this world begins to experience relating with the vastly more advanced races that are out there, that are kind and benevolent, we're not going to gain any ground here. We're not going to advance. And so we need to make contact with the races that are out there. And it needs to be openly disclosed. At some point, the most classified thing in the world between 35 countries is anything to do with extraterrestrials. Especially when they started coming here after World War II, because people on Earth and governments had no way to protect themselves from the technology these races have. They're just so far more advanced than us, there's no way. So they wanted to classify it, keep people working, and build reverse engineered weaponry based on extraterrestrial technology to fight them off and maybe enemies overseas. And this is how it started, out of fear. And
Mm.
this clamping up of real truth about life coming to this world. Part of it's under treaty with the US and other countries. Why it was clamped up. Because people on Earth were so suppressed in superficial fear and not really remember anything anymore. This tight knot has to be gradually unfolded. And that's going to take very advanced masterful beings, not from Earth, coming here in large numbers. True disclosure is about that. Make no mistake
Mm.
about it. It's not about, I'm the president. There's extraterrestrials. Everybody knows that anyway. In all these years since World War II, there's never been one single incident you can prove that someone from out there attacked anybody on Earth because of them being shot at from us, trying to take them down, shoot them down. They never retaliated. You'd think people on Earth by now would get the message
Mm.
that the hostile races that were coming to Earth, as this work clearly discloses, because it is behind true disclosure. They've been removed from our solar system and this planet. There's no reptilians in bases underground. There's no little grays abducting people anymore. Haven't been for more than 25 years. So
So
people,
why people do still talk about that?
because they don't have anything else to talk about. They
Mm.
don't have any experience with beings from other worlds. You know, they're trying to do their best by getting the truth out and get people, whistleblowers, talking about it. But there's so much disinformation and dishonest information on the internet and the world. People are just confused. They don't know which way to turn. There's good, there's bad. It's a mix equally on the internet, and you just can't find your way through it. So I
Correct.
just, so I go into the hue,
Yes.
because the vibration it sets up only vibrates the head upward. People will find this out when they do it. From India, Hinduism, which is nothing wrong with it. It vibrates this area, and that's from the mental plane. That's 4 heavens up. But it's not above the void in the higher realities where source or prime creator really is. Beings from other worlds call it prime creator, not because they worship it. They don't, because they know it and respect it. There's a difference. So we go into the hue. The techniques at the back of the Savior's Agenda book, which is this one, have to do with working with that for each chapter of Hidden Truth revealed in this book. I would recommend, because the hue is not owned or patented or copyrighted by anybody on earth, it's the sound, the first original sound. The missing word in some books is not a printed word, it is a sound. And not a sound like a car going by the street, a sound from source itself. The spherical being we are can see and hear that sound. People leave their bodies every single night when they put the body to bed in the trance state we call sleep. Bodies do not run themselves. Bodies are like a car. They got the engine, they got fuel, they can run, but until you turn that key on, it doesn't do a thing. It doesn't even, heart doesn't beat, you don't breathe. It's basically dormant or dead matter. An Atma, our real self, actually connects energy through the pineal gland to run the nervous system and runs it. But people on earth don't know this anymore. They don't remember it. But they're so brilliant, they're able to run complex nervous system like a human two-stranded DNA body and not even know how they're doing it. It's subconscious. So we want to get all that awake in people. And true disclosure, I would say is more underway from what is called the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds, which is a huge system of organized worlds out in space on a central planet called Zetronomy 1 near the galactic core of our Milky Way galaxy. It is the big organization behind the little ones that extraterrestrial and UFO disclosure people have brought forward. There's much more to it than they know yet. Much deeper.
It's not it's not the federation like people on Earth talking about, right? This
No, that
organization.
comes from Gene Roddenberry and Star Trek. I respect him and his work, but it was based on science at his time, physics at his time. You know, radioactive warp-driven spaceships, with nuclear cores and all that, radioactive, which isn't the way people get around the universe. You can't go faster than the speed of light running a nuclear reactor, because all it basically does is make steam to drive water to make electricity. So the electricity that it's made could somehow be used to drive a ship. But why use nuclear energy when you can use the energy in space? That space energy is non-nuclear, non-material, no DNA, no atoms, and it is a power. It's a living energy behind the combination of positive and negative things that make up matter, planets and moons and suns and stars and galaxies and bodies. We're none of that. We've never been any of it. We're meant to experience bodies, to have the senses to detect and perceive and smell and taste and touch and sight and smell any particular reality we find ourselves running a body on, like Earth. But we were never meant to be stuck in them, trapped in unconsciousness, bewildered of what we really are and thinking that a body is what we are and this is what it survives and goes to heaven. Well, no, it doesn't. Never does. So you can't, no being can be destroyed that runs bodies. Many bodies can be destroyed, a dime a dozen. One nuclear bomb can ruin your whole day. But it doesn't kill the life that's running that body. That's impossible. I suppose when people start to find this out, their
Yeah.
whole life changes. And I find this out by exploring the hue. It's not owned by any group. Anybody tries to make money off the hue are in big trouble. Because delivering it and making, like selling books or anything else we do is fine. But the hue itself is not something someone can possess. It can't be patented or copied. It's the whole omnipresent living power behind creation. I don't think it would think very highly if we try to patent it and sell it. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. People have asked me, do I put out a hue tape and sell it? No.
Yeah, talking about this, sometimes we just don't want to send out the hues, but we just want to hear the hue. Where do you recommend us to hear the
Well,
hue or send out?
At my website at paralleltime.com, under the About the Author, Scott, there's a link. It has two recordings of me and sending out the hue in three-part harmony. One sends out the hue and stops. Sends out the hue and stops for like 23, 24 minutes. Another one is looped so that the hue is continuously vibrating as a whole sound. And there's another whole sound behind it that represents the source sound itself, the missing word, right? That isn't in any book on earth. It's not a word, it's a sound. You can't put that sound in a book. You can't put that sound in recording except one situation where I know it was done. I recorded three-part harmony of my voice sending out the hue, like 23, 24 minutes. But it has another sound recorded in the middle of it that Ambassador Trillian put there. Ambassador Trillian is not from Earth. He's human, but he's not from Earth. 12-stranded DNA in the body forms they had before they immortalized them in a very special way. So I work with these beings because they are involved in this disclosure process. And they aren't from Earth. They don't have subconscious minds. They don't have implants of fear and terror or anything like that. They did not grow up on this planet. We absolutely require their assistance to get through this if we're to survive. To be a spacefaring race, like Star Trek pointed out, in the future several thousand years from now, there won't be any warp core driven radioactive spaceships then. They're never going to take ships far enough, fast enough beyond the speed of light. And the reason for their scientific lack on this planet is because there is no limit to the speed of light. That was constructed by beings seeing light in atmosphere with their eyes within Earth's atmosphere. And they determined that they had a limited speed. But it was limited to the rods and cones of their eyes that can't see a very high vibration. You get into ultraviolet, infrared, X-rays, and all these other things they've labeled. It's really one power on different levels. In the CERN super collider in Switzerland, when they crash particles together at near the speed of light, they could see an energy behind all matter. They didn't understand it. They just know it's there. It's not molecular. It doesn't obey the laws of physics necessarily at all. And so they called it the God particle. It was a good choice. And they're getting closer to understanding that when they refer to it as the God particle, because that energy out there is a living single power. The source it comes from is a nexus where all atmas that run all bodies and all forms, and I don't mean the physical bodies themselves, the beings running them, connect together. This would be the realm of the Supreme Being, if you want. Prime Creator or Source, more accurately. Because we're meant to actually be able to go to it while we're running bodies, not after the body dies. And people don't understand this because they've not been taught it on Earth. Gurus from India that haven't even taught this to anybody. Most of them don't even know about the realities that exist above the void. Most people think the void is this realm of the Supreme Being. It's not. It is a pure energy realm, but there's nothing in it. It's light and sound, that's it. And it's a barrier between the upper realities that have no negative nature in them whatsoever and what we do down here. We come from that realm where there's no negative nature whatsoever. So we want to wake that up.
I've heard many people saying, okay, I want to remember who I am, but at the same time, living on Earth, we hear about earthquakes, eruption, politics, financial stuff, how can they remember themselves if they have concern for these matters around them?
They can't. No one's going to remember any of this with fear involved in their decision making. Not possible. The higher faculties of the being, spherical being we are, does not work with negative emotions or imagination at all. It's like the source energy itself, which also does not work with that. It supports all the beings and things living and imagining, distorting and destroying themselves, but it's been very neutral in its support of things. And there's an energy within the source energy itself coming into the lower worlds and through our universe and through our galaxy that has never happened before. That's part of true disclosure as well, because it provides a way to replace removing fear with something that provides wisdom that cannot be destroyed or taken from you, so that a person can recover who they are permanently. One way. Earth is headed for a destiny it does not comprehend. The people on Earth don't have a clue about what's out there that's coming here vastly beyond the speed of what they think light is. And it doesn't take billions of years for light to get from those galaxies to this planet. It's a constant continuum of energy. It's instantaneous because that energy is not nuclear, not atomic. It does not observe the laws of physics. There's no limit to the speed of light. People have closed themselves on this planet with that misleading concept. There actually is no limit to it. So if they want science to work for them, they have to start working with the 0 point energy of the universe because it's unlimited. And then they build devices that work with it. And then they can get
Mhm.
around the universe. That's the way the more advanced races do it. In the back of the Savior's Agenda book, I would recommend people get it, or in the Parallel Time Trilogy too, the first book of the Emerald Doorway, because it shows what they look like for the first time right here. And then they begin to understand and remember. And the techniques in the back would help people. It's not only an adventure. I mean, the books are published in two categories deliberately. One category, nonfiction, based on my direct experience about everything I reveal in here. That is called Body, Mind, Spirit, UFOs, Extraterrestrials. Nonfiction. Fiction, action, adventure. Because the books are action adventure. They're extraterrestrial, they're multidimensional, they're revealing about what we are as an atma, everything. Um, and then the journeys we do that I guide, and you and I do this work for people in Thailand, for people around the world, we go way beyond what's revealed in the book, but the books create a doorway, a series of steps, gradually letting people drop and let go of fear with understanding. And then they can step out of their body like they do every night unconsciously and explore the multidimensional creation while they still have a body alive on Earth. And then they begin to bring that back to Earth and wake all that up. Changes them permanently. That's part of disclosure as well. Disclosure doesn't, it has no value or purpose. Those beings that are out in that universe don't think like we do. They didn't grow up on a negative planet. They don't have subconscious minds, and we're not supposed to have one either. So how did we get one?
Mm.
I don't remember. How did we get a subconscious mind through which we can be influenced in our decision making from fear?
That we can find out from the series agenda book too, right?
Absolutely. And from the work we do in guiding people around the world. Sure. I think that's pretty clear. It vibrates the pineal gland, the center of the brain, opens a door, begins to make more conscious connection between what we are, running a body, and the source behind all life. In a
Mhm.
nutshell, that's what it does. And then people have to have the tenacity, fortitude, and awakened courage to step further forward, onward, and upward into waking up what they were made to forget. That's
I'd
pretty
like to
important.
ask you, Scott, before the end of this video, can you send out the Heal maybe 5 times for those who are listening with us right now? They can practicing doing with you in the same time to for them to get the experience when you are
Okay, they
sending.
can go to my website. It doesn't cost anything. Um, and listen to the second recording there under the about the author Scott. There's two recordings. The second one is looped so that people can hear my voice in three-part harmonies for 24 minutes straight. They can do it with me.
Mm.
I don't sell it. It's not available for download. That would be wrong in so many ways. So they can go there. Most people I find are so driven by fear they don't have the courage and the initiative to even go there yet, except people that have really worked with this work for a while. So I'll send out the hue now on a number of levels because it will open a door not just from the physical life on Earth, but to the astral, causal, mental, and etheric lives where people are running bodies on those different planes and they don't even know it. It goes into the void, beyond the void, and further upward, all the way to source. Because that is exactly what it does. Nothing else. The more people
And by
find it,
send By sending out the hue, not only connect with the source energy, also connect with the master beings or extraterrestrial too, right?
Because most of the masterful beings that really know what they're doing with what people call God are not on earth.
Mm.
Duh, they're not. Look at the condition of the world. No, they're not. It means we have to go meet with them in a place outside of earth, out of body, to where we can get their help. Because they're not going to walk around on this earth the way we are. People would start shooting them and shooting each other in fear. No. That fear has to be dropped first. And then beings from outside can come into this world safely and just change the whole planet. Getting rid of pollution, radioactive materials, replacing them with 0 point energy capability, healing all disease, fixing the DNA damage that are on people, and some of the genomes on the DNA are shut down long ago and passed on genetically. All of this is repairable. But we can't do it ourselves. We have to get it from the greater God out in space because they understand it. It's ancient to them, not new. Anti-gravitic propulsion systems are ancient, not new. Moving between parallel dimensions in ships is ancient, not new.
Mm.
So people of Earth have nothing but greatness to gain from working with them openly. Disclosure is about working with life beyond Earth openly. No more lies, no more deceit, no more dishonesty for money and greed and power and fame and all that nonsense, which is only destructive. I hope that helps. I'm going to send it out.
Yes, yes.
You. 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 Those 6 U's, it's telepathic. Place us into and beyond the void just by doing it. It takes time for this to filter down to the human consciousness on earth, and fear must be removed before you can have it consciously aware and
Mhm.
under your own jurisdiction. Mastery. Fear cannot be mixed with it, so it has to be neutralized. Hope that
Okay.
helps.
Yeah, it helps very much. Thank you very much. For those who are watching this video, you can click under this video to the website paralleltime.com. You can contact Scott or email me asking anything you want about food, about remembering who you are or about the book, his work. Okay. And we see you again next week
We'll
or
do, we'll do a
next
series.
year.
We can, well, I think it's pretty clear what true disclosure is about in this
Yeah.
video. So next time we'll explore other aspects of how to get rid of fear and what we do to get rid of it, because a
Yeah.
person's own conscious co-creative involvement must be involved in the process for them to gain the benefit from them. I can't just tell them information like mindless entertainment. I do give them information, but it's information that's connected to direct experience. That's what it's for. I mean, the purpose of this work is to provide a way for people to have direct experience.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very
Okay.
much, everyone, for watching. See you again next time.
Here's
Bye
my
bye.
cosmic salute.
โอเคไอ้ไทยสวัสดีค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ
See you later. We'll bring the recording to a close.